shave enough for this? I think so. It's not like I can grow anything anyway. Hi, I'm Evan Johnson, and making movies is hard. Fun, but hard. And today I'm going to go over some of the stuff that happened during Mimic, the production, pre-production, post-production, and going over some of my decision-making and that sort of thing. So, come along. So this opening here, and then the little notes in the background, and then the ga-ding. This opening theme was done by my good friend Ollie. The thing is that they were going to be the composer for the entire thing and had to drop out due to personal reasons. Like, nothing's wrong between us, just got busy and that sort of thing. But they were able to write this, and I very much appreciate that. So shout out to Ollie. Yeah, we go from the woods over to the friends here. When we fade in their audio. Now, this audio for all their conversations is basically entirely improvised. I told all of them to just be like, you know what? Just talk about what you would on a hike. Max here, our lead, obviously worked with him a bunch. And I've known him since middle school. I've also known Leo here since middle school. And Josh since high school. Jamel here, I met at community college, and I've wanted to work with him on a short film since community college, and I didn't get around to making short films until really afterwards. Although, if you've watched some of my videos, he is the hand in the goosening. So, fun fact there.
So why don't you like dogs?
I just don't. They're kind of scary.
That's actually kind of wrong.
I'm sorry.
Guys, I'm gonna go piss real quick.
Real quick, I will say, even though in the future I'm definitely gonna have like an actual script for my actors to say from here on out, at least for a while, we did get some gems with, so why are you afraid of dogs? And then there's a gem coming up here in a sec.
Oh, butterfly.
That right there was just happened to be caught because I only have 2 mics, so it's Max mic'd because he's the main character, and then I have Jamel mic'd because he's kind of the, I guess, the main side character as of right now. Excuse me. And I love the fact that since it's on his mic, this line from Josh sounds so distant because it's also distant from the camera. Ooh, butterfly. We showed this recently at a film festival, and that got a lot of chuckles, which made me very happy. So, fun fact here that I didn't realize until after I released it.
Leo?
You can see us in his sunglasses. You can see
Lex?
me holding
Josh.
the camera. Yep, you can see me holding the camera. You can see the other actors waiting. And if you'll notice, this shot here, an entirely different location, hence why the lighting's different. Also, if you look, there's no sunglasses. And honestly, I should have told him to take them off right here for this scene, honestly, but it's too late now. So in the future, if you have an actor who has reflective sunglasses and they get closer to you, either A, make sure you're not in the reflections, or B, just take them out, take them off. Just get rid of the sunglasses. I cringe every time I watch this now because I can see myself. Yeah, I'm not gonna play the whole sequence here. Just because it's entirely too long. But that drone shot was provided by Cody Roche, who I work for his company, Roche Media Group. Shout out to Cody. But this montage is what you get when you do not location scout. Location scouting is very important, and I just didn't do it. I should have, and I didn't. And I paid the price for it, because now, in my opinion, this whole sequence doesn't really build any suspense or anything. Because he's just standing there calling for his friends. He's not moving. I'm just moving the camera. And honestly, I probably could have gone crazier with the camera movements. If I had location scouted, I would have found an area of woods that he would be comfortable running in. But a lot of the areas of woods we were around, he was not comfortable in because he was in shorts. So what I had to do is I had to resort to basically him standing in front of a wood line and shooting him looking concerned. Big lesson here, location scouting is key. This shot is a shot I've been wanting to get ever since I moved to Manhattan. This I pass by every day to get into my neighborhood. This like tunnel of trees. It is gorgeous. I actually kind of want to reuse it and do a different film that involves that, or maybe just get it as a shot of me walking through there. Probably at a different season. But man, I am happy with how this shot turned out. This is probably my favorite shot of the whole thing. Obligatory product placement shot. I had to make sure, because this restaurant very graciously let us film there for free. I was like, I will be sure to have your guys' sign like in plain view so that everyone can read it and it's not just in the end credits, like it is in the film. So Aggieville Brewing Company, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys make great food, you make great beer, and you guys were gracious hosts, so thank you. A lot of this was shot handheld, kind of run and gun style. I had one of our actors just out of frame hold a reflector that was turned to the black side to get negative fill. Didn't always work out, but it was something. Also, if I were to redo this, I would swap out my car and Max's car, because this is the important car. You would think the one you can mostly see is the important car, but it's the one on the end. I wish I had done that differently. Not to point out every single little mistake I made, but you can hear a slight, like a slight high-pitched ringing in the background. That is from my external monitor, and I did not realize that my monitor did that until after we had shot this. Let me go grab it. I really like this thing. The only problem is that high-pitched beeping. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why it's there. I don't know how I didn't notice it sooner, but it's there. If you are in a bind for a monitor, this was a cheap one. The only thing is that I'm going to be ordering a Feel World monitor here soon, and they sell one that's around the same price and has a touchscreen and doesn't have the high-pitched beeping. If the high-pitched beeping wasn't there, I think this would be a perfect budget monitor, but because it is there, I have to knock it a few points. Here for this part of the tracking shot, I honestly did not bother with my actor doing the negative fill, simply because the sun was so high and so bright that it was creating this drastic shadow on one side. I think it looks all right. I wish I had had them do the negative fill, but okay, this sequence was extremely frustrating in post. I like the shot. If you look at it long enough, you start to notice the cracks, because I am not a VFX artist. I tried my absolute best and banged my head against the wall, and I did it all in Premiere because I know After Effects, but I also don't know After Effects as well as I'd like to. So I decided to just do it all in Premiere because I knew way more about Premiere, and that's what I did. And I think in motion it looks just fine, but when you start to pause it and look at it, yeah, you can really tell. Also, the reason it jump cuts like that, I forgot to continue that shot. So then I also had to talk to the restaurant owner about filming inside, and between all of that and coordinating with actors and getting my camera set, I just forgot to continue. So that's why that shot's cut off, and it's a random, jump cut. It was so hot in this car. Oh my God. Also, fun fact. You can hear ever so slightly their audio, but I was having issues with the DJI Mic 2s, so I decided to not use them. Turns out it was a very easy fix afterwards, which big old face palm. But what I did was I called them on the phone because we had to wrap up shooting inside. I called them on the phone to coordinate with them, and I should have hung up. So the audio I'm getting off of them is echoing because you can hear outside of the car and inside of the car because you're on the phone with them. So I had to turn them all the way down almost just so you could barely hear them and have super loud music on top. So it got the effect across that they are talking while also ratcheting up the tension. One thing I will say about the sequence is while I do like it, it went on way too long. I had to speed this up ever so slightly to where you can't tell it's sped up, but it's sped up. The way you can notice is these jitters in the frame within a frame shot here. The jitters here, they're so fast because I sped up the footage. That's me in the back of the car. I was in the back of Max's car a lot for this shoot. Here, by the way, here's something that's very important to break down. All of this stuff at the restaurant and the hiking trails and all that, this was shot after this. We shot the stuff at the house first. This is Max's old house. We shot all this stuff over maybe the period of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, with a decent lunch break in between. We were limited by the time that I had because I needed to get back. I think I was shooting a wedding the next day, and then our PA slash behind the scenes photographer slash producer, Austin, he also had to drive home that night. So we were pretty limited in time. Otherwise we could have shot into the night. So we shot in March or April. None of that audio was usable. So I kept the stuff that was usable, reshot the stuff later, but we'll get to that. Then we shot the restaurant stuff in, I want to say, like June or July. So pretty big gap. I was working a retail job at the time and was trying to get stuff together. Then had to reshoot the house dialogue stuff and reshot that in August. This moment here is where we go from handheld to gimbal for a while. You'll see why. Quite proud of this tracking shot. It elicits what I was wanting. I was going for a very like 1917-esque shot. Then cutting to an insert shot, you can see very briefly. If I go back. Yeah, you could see the focus, the autofocus was going in and out. I was also on the gimbal for this. I probably should have just gone handheld for this, but the focus is going in and out. And then it focuses on his hand and the key. But honestly, I like it for the trepidation he's having, for the hesitation he's having, for how scared he is. And here he has to calm himself down before going in. Okay, a lot to break down with this tracking shot here. So I had just watched True Detective Season 1, and there's almost an entire episode, or like not an entire episode, but like a really long one-take sequence with Matthew McConaughey's character as he's going undercover. I kind of wanted to elicit a similar feeling, and I wanted to do a similar style shot. I also was trying to basically kind of go at it how Spielberg does his shots, where a lot of his shots kind of have multiple other shots in them. So, you know, you go from a wide to a medium to a close-up, that sort of thing. My biggest takeaway from this is that even though we were pressed for time, I should have pressed him more on certain things. Him looking through these, not really needed. I should have told him to not do that and gone back to one. I like him closing the door. I honestly think, while yes, this part is nice, I like the dolly back and then forward. Probably could have waited till the end, and he could have just gone straight to here. Then I kind of wish I had did this a little differently. So we'd come up on the day that the kitchen was going to be kind of ransacked, just to kind of add to the oddness of it all. So you can see the kitchen cabinets are open. A lot of people didn't read that very well, and I think it's because of how I shot this, because I was focused on him. I should have tracked this and then maybe gone around and then shown the fridge was open, but you live and you learn. This is very improvised. I told him I wanted him to search around, investigate the house, that sort of thing, and then I just kind of let him go. I think in the future, during improv scenes like this, still giving notes and saying what you want out of it is okay. Just because an actor makes a decision during an improv scene doesn't mean it's the right decision for your film. So as a director, I think in the future I will definitely say more what I want. Him checking the basement door, I shouldn't have had him do that. Like, this makes no sense. We should just skip this. We could have said it was a closet. No one would have batted an eye. There's a few moments here, the focus going in and out. Honestly, I don't mind it, especially for this scene. And I love his silhouette. I had so much fun doing this POV shot. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun. That's it. That's the note.
Want to talk?
Okay. From here on out, these are reshoots. There was a mix-up with the audio gear. I won't name names, but one of the crew members was lending a piece of audio equipment. They were under the impression it worked a certain way. I was unsure how it worked because I didn't own it yet. I owned it later when I shot the restaurant stuff. I owned this piece of equipment. The person who owned the audio equipment thought it worked a certain way. We went with it, and it turned out that there was no usable audio. It was all echoey as shit. So, I think big takeaway from there, know how your stuff works. And I'm not just saying that to the crew member, I'm also saying for me, it'll be useful in the future because now I know how these things work. So, because this is also the first time we were working with nice audio equipment. Because for Shadow Buddy, I was using stuff that I got secondhand. It wasn't the highest quality mics ever, but they worked. Here we got to use nice equipment. What's nice about these reshoots is that I did get to redo a lot of shots. So I got to fix them, I got to make them better. For instance, the original shoot, Max was in the center frame for both. I didn't like that. So when we reshot, we had him be on either right or left third of the frame, whereas in the original he was in the center. During the original shoot, I did bring lighting equipment. I did not end up using it though, mainly because of time constraints, and I basically just said fuck it, let's just go natural light.
Would you like a drink? We have. I know what we have. What I have. What are you? I think I'll have some chocolate milk. Are you going to answer?
That chocolate milk is the reason Austin is a producer. He bought the chocolate milk. He's the only one who really spent money on this whole project. Everything else is stuff we owned pretty much. I mean, I got some waters and bug spray for the hiking stuff, and then we went to lunch. Everyone paid for their own lunch. but I paid for that. But honestly, I'm not going to put myself down as a producer simply because I think people know that I spend money on my own films. And it wasn't that much anyway. So, but Austin bought chocolate milk, so he's a producer.
Are you sure you don't want some? Yes, I'm sure I don't want chocolate milk for myself.
Part of the reason why I didn't do lighting is because honestly, I was happy with how this window was lighting this side of his face, and then this side of his face was all in shadow. The other shot that we're about to go back to, him going to the fridge over here to pour it, and then back over here is all one continuous take. I did not have the lighting equipment to light that space at the time, so I just also went with natural light there. You can see here, he starts to smile, and that's because the stand-in for Paul, the character, Austin, because he joined us on the second shoot, for some reason they cannot look at each other without laughing. So he started to smile. I kind of liked it as a performance thing, but it was on complete accident. So good job, Max and Austin. We're back to handheld here.
Oh, hey, Josh. Yeah, I got nothing going on. What are you up to today?
And we leave it off on a very ambiguous note. Is it the Mimic? Is it Paul? Who is it? Anyways, this is the other shot I'm most proud of. I really like this shot. I like the composition. I like having the bushes here, the trash cans here, him here. He's out of focus, and then he comes into focus. We got to redo the blood effects on this reshoot. Fun fact, he lived next to like a kindergarten, and we were around that corner of the house, and we were putting the blood on him, and the kids were at like recess, so we moved around the corner so that way the kids were not seeing this. But I don't know if you can see it in frame, but there was like a family also having a barbecue over here, so it was very funny. Leave us off with just the noise of the neighborhood, which is straight from our list. So that's the movie. That is the film. Honestly, overall, pretty proud of certain things. I really cringe at others, though. Like, it was really tough showing this to a film festival this time. I'm not going to lie to you. But this production was incredibly hard on a lot of levels. On a production standpoint, I told you guys about some of the challenges with lighting and with audio equipment, new equipment. Like, I'd gotten tons of different equipment between each of those 3 shoot days. Having to reshoot was a big deal as well. I had a very limited crew. The restaurant and hiking trails was all me, and the actors, if they weren't on screen, they were helping me out. For the reshoots, I had one other person, but he was also doing behind the scenes photography. Whereas I actually had somebody there the first shoot. It was incredibly tough doing this big of a project by myself, trying to convey things to actors while also dealing with new equipment and setting my camera right and making sure I have the right framing and all this. I know this is like pretty standard stuff for a lot of filmmakers out there, but this was only my second real short film. The other short films were all by myself, no other actors, just me. Shadow Buddy was just me, Max, and Jake in a dorm. Pretty small stuff. This was bigger scale, slightly higher budget because chocolate milk is more expensive than friggin' duct tape. Yeah, so there's all that production side. But on top of that, I was working a retail job, filming weddings. I was also being a camera operator for a broadcasting company, so I had 3 jobs essentially while making this. So that's tough, and a lot of filmmakers out there can relate to that. But there was some like shit, I don't know how to put this part. There was all the normal stressors. Balancing work, life, friends, the film. Me being an idiot and not doing a little bit of a rough cut of what I have so far and not double checking things and having to reshoot it. Trying to schedule that reshoot. But my girlfriend's mom was in and out of the hospital. She had cancer. She had had cancer for a while. On the way to the reshoot, I was dealing with some family stuff. That was extremely tough because it's literally on the way to that reshoot, and I had already gone back for some gear I'd forgotten and then driven back and then had a phone call that was very tough. So that was stressful. And then Lexi's mom being in the hospital, and during the process of editing, things had gotten really bad. And when the movie was ready to go, I was going to send it to Max to make sure it wasn't complete and utter garbage. And then I was going to release it on YouTube and then put it out to film festivals. Basically, like days or a day before I could do that, I had to go to KU Med, and Lexi's mom passed away. And that was really, like, I can't even express how tough that was. That's just for me. Seeing Lexi go through that, I can't even imagine how tough how tough it was for her and how tough it is for her. It's a lot. It really is a lot. I don't know what to say other than, like, I was just sitting on it for like 2.5 weeks before I finally sent it to Max. He really liked it, so I just put it on YouTube. But needless to say that this production, the pre-production, the production, and post-production was very grueling. Not just because of the film itself, but personal things as well. And I'm glad to be done with the project. I'm glad that it's out. I'm glad that people like it. It is my most viewed video on my channel, and that's amazing. Yeah, I don't even know where to go with the rest of this video. I guess just know that if you've given yourself a timeline or a deadline on when a project's supposed to be done, and life happens, that's okay. At the end of the day, it's your movie. Life has got to come first. I know some people, for them, film is life, and that's great, but when shit like this happens, you just gotta deal with that first. I want to say quickly that I'm very grateful for every single person that helped and was supportive, especially Lexi. She lost her mom and was still supportive of me. She's the best. I don't even know how else to put it. She's just the best. And I am I'm lucky to have her. So, thanks, Lex. But what can we take away? On I guess a lighter note, location scouting is important. When you can, be more demanding of your actors. If you can, have one person to help you out, because it helps so goddamn much. And just keep creating. Life sometimes has to take its time away from that, but when you can, just keep creating, because I feel like Mimic is a step forward. It's not where I want to be at all, but it's a step forward from Shadow Buddy, and I'm hoping my next one, Coffee Shop Blues, is going to be even farther step forward. And that one, we are in pre-production, and I'm already learning so much. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that noise was. So stay tuned for that. I don't know what else to say for this video. So I guess go check out Mimic if you haven't already. I hope you would have watched it before you're watching this, since this is like a whole breakdown and spoiler thing of it. If you haven't watched Shadow Buddy, go watch that. Go check out all the wonderful people who helped make this film, and have a good morning, afternoon, or night, or whenever you're watching this. Peace.